talk about that history of Grand Prix Wrestling and your family and your father, obviously, and what Grand Prix Wrestling means to you as a competitor.
That's where how I got introduced to pro wrestling. I was born and raised in a wrestling family. My father was a wrestler, then turned promoter up here in the Canadian Maritimes. His promotion was called Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, and that my life is wrestling. A lot of the fans don't realize that, unless they do research. But obviously, you guys have. So, much like the Hart family, I was born and raised in the wrestling game. So, for me, it means more than anything.
Yeah, and Grand Prix Wrestling, of course. I mean, some of the biggest names in the history of the business cut their teeth going through there. Obviously, Bruno Sammartino, the Macho Man, his brother Lanny Poffo, a lot of big names that made their way through Grand Prix Wrestling. But is there anybody that really, and your dad, obviously, too. I mean, we can't deny the fact how much your dad made an impact in that aspect of Grand Prix. But is there anything that stands out to you about Grand Prix? Like, is there a favorite match you had growing up?
Well, I got to spend time, with guys like Harley Race, Dynamite Kid, and Masahiro Chono, who was probably one of the biggest influence because, he was a Japanese wrestler, Japanese style, which really got me hooked in wrestling. And like Harley Race was a big star in Japan, and so was Dynamite Kid. And, and plus I saw him on WWF TV, right? So that made him even bigger stars in my eyes. But yeah, those were my biggest influence, along with guys like Rick Martel, who came here at 13 is when I started working, putting up rings and selling merchandise and, just being a young boy, so to speak. And then Rick Martel, I came and did a tour. And if you watch some of my single stuff in WWF, there's a lot of Rick Martel-isms. I was very influenced by